Pick up the new free Argos catalogue now.
It's so easy.
Hello, welcome to this retrospective look back at some memorable toys and tech from the summer 1985 edition of the Argos catalogue. We're going to be flicking through 24 double-page spreads, starting with personal stereos and audio equipment on page 204, before moving through the hi-fis, TVs, home computers, consoles, musical instruments, toys and games. And along the way I'll be scribbling a circle around one item from each page that I'd have wanted back in 1985 at the age of 11. We'll also be taking a look at some of your memories in the featured comments section before finishing off with a lovely little selection of old UK TV adverts for some of the products that are featured in the pages of this very catalogue. Before we get cracking, I do need to give credit to RetroMash, the nostalgia website that covers a lot of different childhood toys, games and other items, and this is where I source these catalogue pages from. You can browse a long list of Argos catalogue scans on there in full, and the selection of pages we're about to look at in this video have been visually enhanced and tweaked with some Photoshop magic to make them a little bit more suitable for presentation in this video's format. Starting at page 204, we get a handful of calculators up there in the top left from Casio, Texas Instruments, Canon and Sharp, and one of those is being described as a personal computer, number one, the Casio PB110, thanks to its 1K databank RAM and the ability to program it using BASIC. Personal stereos fill the rest of these pages from the likes of Bush, Ferguson, Cathay, Crown and Philips, and there's also a pair of portable speakers too made by Ross, which look like they're an example of those passive unpowered speakers we used to be able to add cheaply to our Walkmans, with the promise of hi-fi sound, but in reality were just a pair of headphones with bigger speaker cones, so the quality was always inevitably awful. Now, as for what I would have picked out from this first double-page spread at age 11, I would have found the programmable calculator quite intriguing, but I had a ZX Spectrum at the time, so that catered for all my programming needs, and I never had a personal stereo at that age, so the speakers wouldn't have been of any use, so I guess I would have picked out one of the Walkmans. And with the benefit of hindsight now, the obvious choice for me is the Philips D6638 Skyliner Mark II, as long as money was no object though. With a hefty 1985 price tag of $49.99, this little beauty had VHF stereo radio reception and the ability to select from 3 different cassette types, normal, chrome and metal, and I think this would have been a future-proof choice that would probably have done me proud throughout my teenage years. Some smashing boomboxes here from companies including Sharp, Ferguson, Philips and Pi, and a couple of these look good enough to have as full-on bedroom hi-fis, albeit minus the record turntable, and there's a couple here that are making me drool even today, so back then I probably would have given away a body part for one of these. And if you remember hi-fi the way I do, it was all about the wattage back then, so for me, without a doubt then and now, I'd go for that tasty looking Philips D8644 high-tech stereo component system, a 5-band graphic equalizer, Dolby B noise reduction, and the icing on the cake, 2 35-watt detachable speakers make this a dream machine for any bedroom, with the added advantage of portability too, as a superbly cool looking battery operated ghetto blaster. A little bit of a step down audio-wise on these next pages with a selection of small, lower-powered portable cassette players and radios. The combined cassette radios were always nicely versatile for portable music, and by comparison the standalone radios seem a little redundant without a cassette player, unless they were pocket-sized, like the Philips Pocket radio next to the very cute-looking Mr. Chatterbox radio up at the top there. Those flat tabletop cassette players on the page there also doubled up as cassette recorders for home computers, but work perfectly well for music too, and I had one of those included with my rubber-keyed Spectrum when we got it from Dixon's in 1983. So as I already had the tabletop cassette player for my computer, I would definitely have leaned towards one of the combo radio and cassette players, so for me it has to be the Sharp GF1740 radio cassette recorder. It's the most stylish looking of the 4 combo units on this page, and it has all the same features as the others, so there's no competition really. Bedside clocks are pretty run-of-the-mill and functional, so a slightly less interesting page here, but I guess we all needed them, and some of these provide the added benefit of being woken up by either the radio or our own choice of music on cassette. I only have had a bedside clock radio, so I would have relished the option of being woken up by something on tape, so I'll definitely be going for one of the radio cassette units. Of all those on offer here, I think my pick has to be the Bush 6690, as well as having all the features you want like radio, cassette or buzzer wake up. You can also record the radio, record yourself through the built-in condenser mic, and the clincher for me was the size. I think its smaller footprint would have been handy for smaller bedside tables like the one I had when I was 11. finally we get a few record decks to choose from here, as well as some accessories, a selection of headphones and some blank cassettes. Always handy having extra blank tapes, and as you'll probably remember, the headphones included with personal stereos were usually awful, so the idea of a headphone upgrade would have been welcome. But let's face it, with some proper classic looking record players on the page here, there's no competition, and of all these players, I just love the look of that Philips F1141 Music Center, as well as having the most powerful speakers. Just look at it, oozing style and quality. Might be a little bit too big for some bedrooms, but if you had the room, it would definitely have rivaled the magnificence of those massive hi-fi beasts we used to have in our living rooms, often taking up an entire corner of the room like a piece of furniture in itself. More accessories, and aren't those videotape storage boxes on the left there just the epitome of the 1980s? Little book-like containers for your home recorded videotapes to make them blend in nicely on a bookshelf. The drawers and carry cases for tapes and records are another relic too, and I always love it when those turn up in charity shops, as they're like gold dust now. Moving across from the bottom left page, we get wall mounting brackets for TVs as well as hi-fi speakers, blank videotapes, and a selection of cleaning kits for your cassettes, records, video players and hi-fis. Back in '85, I probably would have opted for some blank video cassettes, as we were always trying to eat the most out of the tapes that we had, and they were quite expensive to buy, but I'm going to go with hindsight on this occasion, as audio and video cassette storage is so hard to come by now, and I'm always looking out for these things in charity shops, so the Canberra Sound 3-drawer video cassette cabinet is my obvious pick, although I can't deny the smaller one next to it, which has a lock, would have been handy for parents back in the day who maybe wanted to hide their more private videos away from the kids. Storage continues on page 216 and 217, with options on the left to store your audio cassettes in cabinets, cases, and if you fancy it, a carousel. Ooh. On the right, car stereo equipment begins and will continue over the next page, but here we get a selection of cassette radio units, a graphic equalizer add-on, some car speakers, and 2 car aerial options, including a proper fancy fully automatic one. And it's cassette storage I'll be going for here again. That Canberra Cassette 33 storage cabinet is one I still have now, an eBay purchase in recent years, although I had to pay a lot more than £5.79 for it, so the Canberra Sound 69 cabinet is the one I'm picking here, with storage for 36 tapes under that gorgeous translucent hinged lid, and 33 in the drawer below. I can already imagine myself picking out my favourite tapes to display under that see-through lid, with the rest going into the drawer. Right now there are 2 of these on eBay, at around £30 for a damaged one, and more than twice that for a pristine example, and I'd love to go for it, but I just can't justify over 70 quid with postage, so it'll have to remain firmly in my imagination for now. As promised, more car stereo stuff with units from Sharp, Pi, Audioline and Harry Moss, plus 4 different options for speaker upgrades. Being 11 in 1985, car stereos weren't exactly at the top of my wish list, so I'll fast forward 10 years or so to when I got my first car, and those Goodman speakers have my name written all over them. They probably would have been a lot more than $42.99 when I first learned to drive, but looking at them I'd have found a way to pay for them. I mean, look at those beautiful enclosures. A pair of those sitting on my parcel shelf pumping out 45 watts, which is more than plenty for a small enclosed space inside a car, and I'd have been bouncing down the road listening to my hip-hop and house music mixtapes. Absolute bliss. Portable colour TVs, and who wouldn't have wanted a colour telly in their bedroom as a kid or teenager? I had to wait until I was about 15 before I got my first bedroom TV, which I paid for myself, but my lucky sister got a black and white 14-inch for her bedroom as a birthday present one year, which I remember being super jealous about. Of all the enticing looking specimens on this page, I'm going to pick out the Philips 2216 down there on the left page. There's no way my family could have afforded the £239 for this back in 1985, but we're here to dream, right? And nothing's stopping us putting a big circle around the items of our dream. So this 16-inch colour TV with a remote control to boot, I can't help but picture myself as a very spoiled 11-year-old laying on my bed, changing channels and watching Roland Rat and the Wide Awake Club on a Saturday morning in full glorious colour. Now, for those of us whose families were skint, here are a few viable options for bedroom tellies in the form of 12 and 14-inch black and white portables. That white Ferguson model in the top left looks a lot like the one my sister had. It didn't have selection buttons for different channels, you had to manually tune it in using that one tuning dial. I remember she used to put little stickers in the positions for BBC 1 and 2 and ITV so that she could easily locate them. Beyond that we get indoor TV aerials, connectors and signal boosters, and what I'd describe as the main event, the Atari 2600 Junior games console, which includes 3 game cartridges and a controller for just $49.99. This was a bit old hat by 1985 though, as the Atari was originally released in the late 70s, so at this point the cheaper price point wasn't that amazing. For that reason I probably would have skipped the Atari when I was 11 and I'd have been more interested in that Wiko The Boss joystick, as it's not only compatible with the Atari but also with a wide range of other games machines that use the Atari standard connections, so that I think is what I'd have plumped for from this page. It gets a bit more exciting here on pages 2, 2, 4 and 5 with accessories for the Commodore 64 and ZX Spectrum, as well as the machines themselves. A smart looking TV monitor up on the left there, designed for use with computers, plus the aforementioned accessories, but as I already had a Spectrum at that point and I never really needed cases to take it outside the house, it's the Ferguson MC01 TV monitor that's getting my vote this time. A dedicated colour monitor that also doubled up as a TV for my bedroom would have been a dream come true for a kid who had to timeshare the living room TV just to get any time on my computer. Something for the budding musicians here with a range of keyboards, some cheaper ones that were little more than toys, moving through to the pricier models that wouldn't look out of place at a concert. Although I'm into music now as an adult, I wasn't much of a musical kid, so the keyboards would have been a bust, unless it was bought for novelty value as a toy, and I wouldn't have had much use for a public PA system either, like that Philips one at the top right of the left page there, which just leaves the drum machine. I think I would have definitely found that interesting, being able to create and play rhythms and tap out drum beats on the finger pads, although I have to admit at that age it would only have been a novelty, but a brilliantly fun one though, so that's what I'm going to go for here. And this is the page for me. Electronic games. I found nothing more exciting than the idea of being able to bring the arcade home in some form in an affordable, smart-looking little electronic box of tricks. I have to admit though that the excitement for standalone games waned a little bit after I got my Spectrum with its limitless library of loadable games, but I've never lost that feeling of excitement even to this day when I see these old machines that were so magical at the time. So what's it going to be then? The Game & Watches are iconic now and sadly super expensive too, and you can't beat the Tomytronic 3D games for an immersive gaming experience, and those still hold up today as gaming machines. I have a collection of them in my cupboard, and I still love losing myself in those 3D gaming worlds. The Speak and Spell, Speak and Maths, Major Morgan, Little Professor and Maximus machines in the bottom left there, although educational in their nature, are still a nostalgic throwback, and I know that collection of Grandstand branded tabletop games have a special place in the hearts of a lot of people who'll be watching this right now. Firefox F7, Star Force, Caveman and BMX Flyer being particularly good examples, and I'll quickly skip over those very kiddie-ish looking musical toys in favour of my top pick now, which is a difficult one this time with so much gaming goodness on offer, but ultimately I'm going to go for the best and most immersive experience, which is the Tomytronic 3D Stereo Skyfighters. It's one I have in my collection now, so I can vouch for the fantastic experience it offers up as you pilot your aeroplane around a mountainscape, dogfighting in the clouds with other biplanes, and all brought to life with 3D graphics and stereo sound. Marvellous. Ooh, board games. They really did pack a lot of them into these 2 pages, didn't they? So I'll let you feast your own eyes on them rather than naming them all, but a few notable examples for me would be Operation, Guess Who, Connect 4, Mr. Frosty of course, how could I not mention him, Hungry Hippos, Domino Rally, Perfection and Mr. Pop. I'm sure you have your favourites, and we had at least 5 of these in our house over the years, but the one that's absolutely at the top of my wish list has to be Domino Rally. I desperately wanted one of these for years, and eventually I was lucky enough to get one for a birthday. Boy did I love it, and I found ways to expand on the set by getting creative with other household objects too, so I definitely had amazing fun with my set, and I couldn't not choose it here as my top pick. I'm sure many of you will be having warm feelings over those Transformers toys in the bottom right, as I know they were and have been massive for a long time, so I wanted to prioritise those, although I've never owned a single one myself. For some reason they never really captured my imagination. However, if it's imagination you're after, we have not been shortchanged here on these pages. One word: Lego. It's pretty much the #1 toy for sparking imagination in kids, and let's face it, adults too. And there's something here for all ages. A few non-Lego toys in the bottom left too, including Tomy Zoids, some Star Wars space vehicles, Tomy Popoids, an Action GT bolt and build set, and some Duplo, which strictly speaking is also Lego. And Lego sets were always something I wanted as a young lad, but sadly the price made the more elaborate sets unattainable. I did however manage to put together a small Lego City collection consisting of just 2 base plates, an ambulance station and a post office. So I'm going to pick out that police station at number 7, which includes the building, a car, a helicopter and a motorbike, plus a handful of minifigures to complete the set. This would have gone a long way towards expanding my own collection back in 1985, which was, unfortunately, embarrassingly minimal. Warm feelings again here, and maybe a few hyperventilation attacks too, because look, I mean, where do we start? You've got A-Team, Knight Rider, Scalextric, Star Wars, and Dukes of Hazzard. It's a toy collector's wet dream. Again, I'm sure you have your favourites, but action figures have never really been something that interested me, except maybe for the odd Action Man and a few accessories. So the only things that really interest me on this page are the racing sets. A Ford Escort XR3i Scalextric, the Knight 2000 Super Stunt set next to that, the Knight Rider slot car racing set over on the bottom right, and the Dukes of Hazzard slot car set. Now, I really loved Knight Rider back then, and I spent a lot of years coveting a slot racing set, so it has to be the Knight Rider racing set from Ideal that gets my big red circle on this double page spread. Okay, I thought we'd already hit peak hyperventilation, but no. It's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. My buddies at school went absolutely mental for He-Man stuff, but again, I never really got into it. I'm actually starting to wonder if I was missing some kind of childhood gene that made action figures really boring for me. I'm sure Battle Cat and He-Man would have been my top pick if I'd had that gene, and I can see the appeal as I really did love the cartoon. I must also mention the Action Force stuff down the right-hand side there as well before picking something out, and I think I'm going to go for the He-Man weapon playset, although maybe at 11 I've been a bit too old for this, but what the heck, I'd wear that now. It looks like you get the sword, the shield, and a He-Man belt included in the set, and maybe as a slightly younger kid, I'd have enjoyed wearing those and play acting as He-Man in my very own imaginary adventures in the land of Eternia, holding aloft my magic sword and transforming into He-Man. I don't think the family dog would have been much interested in being Battle Cat though. Right, it's getting a bit more sensible now, and we're getting into some girly toys too. Heavily vehicle-based here, even on the Barbie page, and my eye is immediately drawn to the Matchbox street racing set just above the text descriptions on the left page, as I did have one of these, and I remember having great fun setting up those tracks around the house and zooming my toy cars along them. Shout-outs to the Chips playset at number 2, based on the California Highway Patrol TV show. That great selection of corgi trucks with the famous brand names on the sides. Hot Wheels, of course, was always a popular toy range, and down in the bottom left, the remote-control Bigfoot truck, which was based on the famous full-sized monster truck of the same name. Barbie, of course, goes without saying, as she's pretty much the most popular dress-up and play-acting doll of all time, but being as I'm a chap, I can't not pick something from the boys' toys really, and looking at what's here, there are 2 toys that have my interest, in addition to the street racing set. That Power Rod high-speed rechargeable car at number 12 is something I'd have played with originally, but I always was a sucker for radio-controlled toys, and I did get caught up in the Bigfoot hype when I was that age, so that's the toy I'm going to pick out from this selection. I was going to say more girly toys here, but to be fair, even as a boy, I've always quite liked Care Bears, ever since the age of 10 when I randomly picked the Care Bears movie as my Saturday afternoon cinema visit, so I'll enter into the spirit and give this page a go. I did spot Roll and Rat down there on the left page, so that's probably a good choice for the lads, and as a Care Bears fan, that Care-A-Lot playset in the top left of the right page, which looks a bit like a Polly Pocket set, is adorably cute, but my favourite Care Bear, Grumpy Bear, sadly isn't represented here at all, so out of all this stuff, I'm going to have to cop out and go for the Hasbro Roll and Rat plushie, the star of TVAM and numerous children's shows. I was a dedicated Rat fan at the time, and I went mad at that age for any Roll and Rat guff that I could get my hands on, so that's inevitably the item I'd have picked out at that age. Another challenging page here for a 10-year-old boy, so I might have to get a bit creative with my choices. We got dolly prams and push chairs, cots, high chairs, baby doll equipment, toddler push-alongs, ride-on toys and rocking horses. If I imagine myself about 6 or 7 years younger than I was in 1985, then as a boy, I think that sit-in police car would have been a perfect choice. I had a proper go-kart when I was about 9, and I spent a few years wazzing around the estate on that thing, and this police car version kinda has a similar appeal. Some proper iconic kiddie toys here on pages 244 and 245. The Fisher-Price musical toys always had an appeal with that plastic disc music box record player in attendance, as well as an actual record player and a cassette player too. Tommy Lights Alive is another memorable one at number 12 in the bottom left, and there's even more Fisher-Price stuff on the right page. I think we all must have owned at least one Fisher-Price toy at some point in our childhoods, and that Fisher-Price Play Family Garage at number 29 near the bottom right is one I remember playing with on a number of occasions, although I never actually owned one, so it must have been at a playgroup or something. Fisher-Price aside, I have to say the most recognisable toy in these pages, next to the Matchbox school boot playset, is the big yellow teapot from Bluebird. Again, I never had one, but the adverts for it were all over the TV back in the 80s, and I happen to know right now that one of the adverts I have for you at the end of this video is for this toy, so you'll probably have that jingle stuck in your head for the next few days, I'm sure.
There's lots of fun for everyone
in the big yellow teapot.
More similar toddler toys here from a lot of different iconic sounding toy companies, including Fisher-Price, of course, Playschool, Matchbox, Mattel, Petite, Hasbro and Bluebird. I've got to mention the Fisher-Price Activity Centre at number 2, the spinning Mother Goose Says toy at number 10, of which my cousin had the Farmer Says version, the super cute Glowworm in the bottom left, and my stepdaughter had the late 90s version of that, and of course that cursed Jack-in-the-Box toy at the bottom of the right page. That really was a love it or hate it toy, wasn't it? I can just remember being terrified of it as I waited for the moment when it would suddenly pop out when least expected. As for my choice from this section, I'm going to probably go with the Mother Goose toy. It's the farmer version I'm really after, as I remember being fascinated with my cousin's one and the way it somehow knew what picture it had landed on and was able to play the corresponding animal sound, but I guess the Mother Goose version would have had a similar appeal, swapping out animal sounds for nursery rhymes. Outdoor playsets get a look in here with some smashing looking tents, that brilliant Ket Car pedal go-kart, very similar to the one I mentioned earlier that I had when I was about 9, roller skates, the type that you tie around your shoes, a couple of paddling pools, a climbing frame slides and a garden swing. Tents were always fun, and I've got to say that caravan design one makes me want to climb inside and pretend I'm on holiday. And a paddling pool is something I wouldn't ever have wanted to be without at that age, but the go-kart for me is the only choice I can honestly make here. If I didn't already have one, that would absolutely have been my top choice. The fun I had on that thing, whizzing along the pavements and power sliding around corners, there's just no competition. And all good things must come to an end as we've reached the last double-page spread we're looking at today. After here it degenerates into adult sports and exercise equipment, and you can see here we're approaching the sports stuff with snooker tables and dartboards, as well as a couple of bikes and scooters. The Knight Rider pedal car looks pretty cool, but we've already had our go-kart needs covered. I was a lucky lad back then too, as our family had a 6-foot snooker table to play on, so these smaller tables don't really appeal. Dartboards were quite common, and as we had a few over the years, these aren't really exactly calling out my name, but there is one thing on these last 2 pages here that's almost literally screaming out at me. One of the lads on our estate had a superb accessory attached to his bike. It was one of those electronic multi-sound bike sirens that you can see tucked away in that little box above the Knight Rider pedal car there. His also had what looked like a CB microphone attached to it by a wire, so he could project his voice through it too. And I remember being super jealous of that, so this multi-sound bike siren here at number 2 has to be my choice. Even though this version doesn't have the microphone, it's still a really cool accessory for a bike. And as I'm still a cyclist now, it's got me thinking I might have to look into what kind of devices I could get now in 2026 to add to my bike. As is now customary in these videos, I asked you lot on social media if you could share memories of your favourite toys and tech items from around that time, and you didn't let me down, so here's what a few of you had to say. Postcard and a Pint on YouTube's favourite toys included Firefox F7 and Action Force, which are both featured in this catalogue, but their ultimate favourite thing ever in the 80s was the Amstrad RP10 disco record player, which as well as playing your records would also pump out a nifty disco light show in your bedroom as you listened to your music. Liu on Mastodon's favourites were the electronic LCD handheld toys that Tandy used to produce, or Radio Shack if you're in the US. These seem to be based on the ever-popular Nintendo Game & Watch handhelds, and Liu mentions 2 models from Tandy, Plane and Tank and Highway, which to my eye look every bit as good as Nintendo's LCD games. Harry Kilmer on Blue Sky Social remembers having the A-Team van from this catalogue and a Mr. Potato Head, but of all the toys, computers and calculators Harry recognises, the most vivid memory is one of these beauties. Those 4-prong universal power adapters that were able to take the place of expensive batteries. I had one for my Galaxy Invader 1000, and I can confirm having that wired monstrosity hanging out the back of my game was much preferable to blowing a week's pocket money on batteries. Team Egg at Look Up Paragliding on YouTube got a Matsushiro the Winch 4x4 radio-controlled car around 85 or 86, got fed up spending pocket money on C-cell batteries every 5 minutes and ended up getting a Uniross battery charger the following Christmas. They were into collecting Zoids too, which also appeared in this catalogue. Bren P on YouTube thinks it's appropriate that in 2026, when He-Man seems to be making a big comeback, we should be looking through a 1985 catalogue when Masters of the Universe was dominating the toy market. Bren's attention was grabbed by these kinds of story-driven toys like He-Man and Star Wars, but Masters of the Universe took it to a whole other level, with colourful and creative packaging and accompanying mini-comics. The combination of sci-fi tech and magical fantasy made this the greatest toy line of the decade. Run Now at Moomin May on YouTube had a red Seisho Walkman, which of course was a Dixon's brand, and remembers one of the first cassettes they played on it, a promotional tape from Weetabix that was sent out when you collected tokens from Weetabix packets. There were a range of these available, each based on a different Weetabix gang character, but at age 14, Moomin May remembers bopping away to Level 42, Tears for Fears and Elton John, so it may well have been Dunk's cassette they were listening to. Models X Inferis on Blue Sky shared a lovely memory regarding Tender Heart Bear from the Care Bears. After her parents divorced and her dad looked after her on a weekend, she went into the bedroom and a Tender Heart Bear was just sitting there on the chest of drawers. The same thing happened again with a Grimlock toy from Transformers and Baron Von Joy from the GoBots, and she still has them all today. And finally, Tom Anderson at Blamethand on YouTube asked me not to forget to check out the Casio watches page, where the products and prices have not changed in 30 years. Well, never fear, as although the watches on page 92 and 93 weren't part of the tech and toys section we went through, that's where this featured comments segment comes into its own. We always get to see and hear about a few honourable mentions here, so remember you can get your comments in for some bonus content whenever I'm asking for input. If your nostalgic memories have been unearthed today, or if you disagreed with my favourite picks from each page, go ahead and post about it in the comments and I'll look forward to having a chat with you there. And if you'd like your comments featured in a future Retrospectives video, follow me on my various social media platforms, where I'll be reaching out for your input whenever I'm working on something new. We'll finish up now with those classic adverts I promised, but before that I'd like to thank everyone who submitted comments for this video, to thank you for liking and subscribing, and of course to thank you all for watching Retrospectives.
Shopping for the names you can really trust.
Pick up the new free Argos catalogue now.
It's so easy.
Chrome dioxide, the secret of BASF audio cassettes.
Do it strong.
Clearly reflecting even the higher frequencies.
Do it strong.
BASF Chrome cassettes,
Live it.
a peak of reflection.
The astonishing Tomytronic 3D games. 3D thundering turbos. Only the most courageous driver can win. And 3D Sky Attack. Invading UFOs threaten to destroy a planet. They must be stopped. Tomytronic 3D games. Packed with 3D action. Only from Tomy.
Be a winner at the game of life. Find a job. Have money, baby. Get married. Have a baby. Take a chance. Find romance. All your dreams may come true. Be a winner. Be a winner at the game of life.
You're the doctor having so much fun. Operation. You're the doctor, got the patient on the run. Operation's the wacky doctor's game. Remove the pieces and collect your fee, but be careful or... Operation. You're the doctor. It's so much fun to play. Operation from MB.
You'll flip over Guess Who, a great family game. Pick a card, then use all your powers of deduction to guess who. Does the mystery person have blue eyes? Wear glasses, a hat? Is it Tom, Robert, Anne, or Bill?
No, it's Claire.
You'll flip over Guess Who from NB Game.
When you're playing perfection, you mustn't be slow. Push the plunger down, set the timer, go with perfection. You've got to match the shapes fast, or the pieces pop out before you put in the last.
Perfection. More fun, more action from Action GT. It's a race to make a face when you play Mr. Pop. It's not hard. Pick a card and set the clock. Find the nose, in it goes, and the hair, it's in there. But beware, should you stop, Mr. Pop goes pop. Mr. Pop has lots of different faces. More fun, more action from Action GT.
Warrior robots in disguise. The leader of the evil Decepticons is Soundwave. He steals information with his spy cassettes. And this is Optimus Prime, battle headquarters and leader of the heroic Autobots.
Transformers.
They'll stop Soundwave and his evil Decepticons from destroying Earth. We hope.
Transformers.
Warrior robots in disguise from Hasbro.
Hold to face the evil hook of Trapjaw.
Trapjaw, He-Man, and Battle-Cat.
That hook won't stop He-Man. Then Trapjaw will use his vicious claw. Still no contest. Then Trapjaw will use his wicked laser. Even a one-arm army can't stop He-Man and Battle-Cat. You win this time, He-Man.
Trapjaw from the Masters of the Universe collection. From Mattel, the world's #1 name in toys.
If you like fast cars, you'll love the Dukes of Hazzard Stunt Busters. Wind it up, start it slow, into second, and watch it go. Wow! Old General Lee really gives it the gun. And if that ain't lively enough for you, there's Dukes of Hazzard Speed Jumpers. It starts slow, but then it really takes off. Woohoo! I tell you, it'll crash through just about anything and come out doing a wheelie. Yahoo! The Dukes of Hazzard Stunt Busters and Speed Jumpers.
Welcome to Barbie's Beauty Salon. Barbie's here to have her hair done. Well, we've got all we need to make her beautiful tonight. Shampoo today? Or do you want streaks? Streaks. Barbie wants red. Beautiful. Barbie Beauty Salon. Styling and streaking, our speciality.
The Barbie Beauty Salon with 2 hair streaking wands, play shampoo, and all you see here. From Mattel. Behind the door of the big yellow teapot, there's a whole world of fun. And when the Teapot family are at home, everyone stays in to play.
There are 2 super rooms, both full of furniture, and at a twist of the lid, they turn right round. Sometimes people drop in for tea, or pop upstairs to play on the merry-go-round. The teacup car can go for a drive,
Jump in, Sugar Lump!
but he's home in time for tea.
There's lots of fun for everyone.
In the big yellow Teapot!
From Bluebird Toys.
The new Argos catalogue is out now. It's full of famous names at low prices. Pick up your free Argos catalogue.
It's so easy.